Hey guys, welcome back to Snack Time. My name is Ben, and I had a request a little bit ago from somebody that was asking me how they could do a lot of the same stuff that I'm doing, but without renting a virtual private server or having something hosted on the cloud, more like having it just, on their home network. But on the same side, they didn't want to open a bunch of ports from their home router and expose that traffic, to the machine that's on their network. So they asked about doing it through Cloudflare, and honestly, I didn't really have too much experience on it, but I dove into it and kind of picked up on how to do it, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So without a further delay, let's go ahead and jump in and let me show you how to set up a tunnel with Cloudflare that will allow you to pass traffic to your home network safely and without having to open up any sort of ports on your firewall. All right, so the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a domain. And the reason that I took you to Namecheap here is because they have these .site domains that are pretty much very affordable. Anybody can buy one, and it's not going to break the bank. It's not a .com, and I think they're a lot more reasonable, especially for what we're trying to do here. So if you wanted to, I would look at, like, let's say we want to do Ben's home network .site. So the .site's super cheap. And so once we do a search, we see that Ben's home network site is available, and it is 99 cents a year. Yes, very affordable. After that, it may go back up to like $1.78 a year. But if you wanted to, you could always dump that .site and just register a brand new one. That way you wouldn't have to renew it if you wanted to save yourself the 80 cents. But I already have a domain set up. We're just going to use Senhow for this, but I just wanted to show you this so that you could easily afford to have your own domain, especially just for like tinkering around, and wouldn't cost you very much. All right, so we're in Portainer, but what we need to do is we need to head off to Cloudflare, and we need to set up an account with them. We're going to use a free account. So we're going to go to cloudflare.com. We're going to click on this sign up option here. We're going to go for a free account. And we are just going to set ourselves up an account. So I'm going to sign up. Let's click on sign up. So let's set ourselves up an account. So let's use an email address. I'm just going to set up one. It's just going to be cloudflare@snacktime.com. And I'm going to set up a password, verify I'm a human, and hit sign up. All right, so once you have set up your account, we are going to jump into the home page here, and we're going to set up our domain. Now, if you just registered one, you'll be doing this through Namecheap or whatever your registrar is. And the only thing that we're going to really be doing is we're going to be changing the name servers of our domain to point to Cloudflare. So let's do that. Let's jump in, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see this. All right, so I'm going to put in my domain. I'm just going to use senhow.com, and I'm going to click the quick scan for DNS. I'm going to hit continue. And once you get past that, you're going to be offering a couple of different plans. Now, I am just going to go with the free plan. It has a lot of features, and it's not going to cost me anything. So I'm going to click on free and hit continue. Cool. Well, it just did its scan, and now it's asking me, what do you want to do with all of the DNS entries that you have currently with Namecheap? I don't really need any of them. If you're doing a brand new fresh domain, it's probably not going to even give you this option. But if you do have something that's already existing and you want to transfer it over, because this is effectively making Cloudflare your DNS server. So anytime you set up a new website, you're going to be doing it over here. Let's just hit continue. I'm not going to really import anything. So it does want us to change our name servers to Margot and Robin. So let's copy this name server. Let's head over to our Namecheap, and let's change. If you go under your domain and go under name servers, we're going to do custom. Let's paste in Margot. And now let's go back to Robin. And we're going to paste in Robin. Didn't mean to click that add one. That's okay. Hit save here. Once it's saved, it'll tell you it has to take 48 hours to propagate. And that's usually on a little bit on the high side. And this one is saying 24 hours, but let's check and see if they have had time just since we started doing this. All right, so it's already being checked. That's fine. We can only check once per hour. That's cool. Let's just go ahead and hit continue for now. You know what? I just got an email saying it was active, so I'm going to refresh. All right, good. All right, cool. We're active. Sweet. That didn't take long. All right, now that we have everything all set up and we have an active domain, everything is checked out, we can go ahead and move on to the next step, which is going to be configuring our tunnel to our private network. So if we head over on the left-hand side here, and let's just click on the back. And now let's go to Zero Trust. See it on the left. And we're going to pick our team name. I'm just going to call this Senhow 991. You can pick whatever you want. All right, and hit next. And now we're going to select the free plan. So this is going to require you to put a payment method in. There's a couple of different ways that you can handle this. I like to use privacy.com because I can generate a temporary card with a very low maximum charge rate of like $1. And then once I put it in here, I know that it's never going to charge me because it mostly can charge me $1 and that's about it. Other alternatives is you could use your credit card. You could also go to pretty much any like grocery store and pick up like a little Visa gift card, put $5 on it or something, and then use that in here. I'm going to go ahead and use my privacy.com credit card number, and I will see you back here in just a second. So now we're going to add a tunnel. So let's click on add tunnel, and let's select Cloudflare. And now it's going to ask us a name for our tunnel. I'm just going to call it Ben's Home Network. And let's save our tunnel. I'm going to make myself a little smaller so you can see the whole screen. But it's asking us what operating system we're going to be running our agent on. And this agent is going to effectively reach out to Cloudflare servers, establish that connection, and pass traffic back and forth. And since it is an outgoing connection, that means that there's no need for you to open up any ports on your firewall, unless you're blocking outgoing ports, which would be kind of strange for a home network, but not atypical for a commercial enterprise. Something to keep in mind. Since I'm a big fan of Docker, I'm going to select a Docker container. And so here it says, okay, well, you selected Docker. Awesome. Here is the command that you're going to need to run on your Linux server to establish that container that will have the Cloudflare agent. I'm going to take this and I want to run it inside of Portainer since I want to know exactly what it's going to be doing. So let's copy this and let's paste this command into a notepad so that I can pick out the different elements that I want to be aware of and to put into Portainer. So you can see it's going to say Docker run. Here is our image right there. No volumes being set up, nothing really to persist as far as a volume, but it does have this extra command line to it. It says tunnel and auto update run, and here is our token. So we're going to need to take this information and put that into Portainer as well, and I'm going to show you where to do that. So let's copy this first part, which is going to be our image. And let's head over to Portainer. And let's go to containers. And let's click up here and let's hit add container. And I'm just going to call this Cloudflare. Make it easy. All right, so it's asking me for my image. I'm going to paste that. That is my image, the username and the repository. And let's see, it has getting the latest version. Awesome. All right, now I want to show you this other part. So remember this extra stuff we had at the end of this command? Let's go ahead and copy this, starting at the tunnel and going all the way to the end of our token. I'll copy this, move it out of the way. All right, and now I'm going to scroll down, and do you see down here at the bottom, it has like the command, and right now it says default. All right, so we're going to change that. Let's change this command, and let's click on override, and let's paste in what we just copied, which is the tunnel all the way to the end of our token. All right, now I think we have everything. It's just going to put this on the bridge network. We could create a different network if you wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to let it pick its own, which is going to be the default. It's going to be the bridge. All right, and let's deploy our container. All right, so once it gets done, we'll have the happy little green message saying everything is awesome. We can jump into our logs if you want to and take a look to see, okay, well, a tunnel connection is established and everything's awesome. Here's a bunch of IP address and information that somebody found useful, but we don't really need it. I think we're good. Let's do this. Let's hop back over to Cloudflare and let's verify that. All right, so check it out. Right here at the very bottom, we have our connectors and our status is connected, which is good. Awesome. All right, cool. So let's head off and let's click on next right over here. All right, so now it's asking us, you want to set up some host names and start forwarding some traffic? And I think we do. I'm going to set up one for my Portainer because I want to be able to access Portainer from out from the web, but I also want it to be secured, encrypted, everything that way. So I'm going to call it something like Portainer home. I'm going to pick my domain, which that's going to be my synhow. Path, I'm just going to leave alone. And now it's asking us right down here at the bottom, you can see it's asking us for the service type. So this is what you will be accessing on your home network, like say for instance, like Portainer. It's going to be an HTTPS, and it's also asking us for like an IP address and a port. So if we hop on back to Portainer, we can go over here, and I happen to know that 9443 is how we usually access this, and it is a secure connection. It is HTTPS. There's my IP address. So if I copy that guy, and just want to point out there's 9443 set up. So that's cool. And let's do this. Let's copy that IP address and let's head back over to Cloudflare. Let's select HTTPS. Let's paste our IP address. It's also going to need to know the port, which is :9443. So you can see I've set that up. And one thing that also that you're going to need to do, because if you don't do it, it's going to error out on you, is changing the TLS right here. So if we click on TLS, one of the options that you'll have is the no TLS verify. If you leave that unchecked and there's any sort of differences between your SSL and Cloudflare's, it's going to give you a gateway error or a message just saying something about certificate and couldn't be validated or something, but you're not going to get any farther. So I'm going to check this and avoid getting that error message. And I'm going to click on Save Tunnel. All right, so I see that my tunnel is healthy, and I can go under my three periods and click on Configure, and I can go to my public host name, and here's the one that I set up. So if I click on this guy, one of the options that you have right here is the to be able to click on the host name. So if we click on that, it opens up. There is our Portainer. And you can see at the very top here that we are encrypted. We're nice and secure. Awesome. We got a valid certificate. Our host name is proper. And I have not opened up any sort of ports forwarding to this. So it's using my Cloudflare tunnel. So pretty easy, right? And just let me show you one more thing before we wrap up. You can edit this. You can add more. There's all sorts of different things you can do with this. And basically, when you come in here to add another one, you can just pick the port that you're interested in forwarding, typically it'll be HTTPS. And something to keep in mind is that you will be able to forward the traffic to any IP address that this container has access to. And so why do I say that? Well, think of it like this. It's kind of like nginx proxy manager. In most of my videos, I'll walk you through connecting nginx proxy manager to the network where the container lives, because a lot of times I like to separate those containers out into their own private networks so they can't really talk to each other. It's going to be very similar to that situation. It's with Cloudflare. So if Cloudflare can't get to that IP address, it's not going to be able to forward the traffic. So like I was looking at Blinko a little bit, and say I wanted to set up a tunnel to that website, you know, from my new domain. Well, if I go in here under Cloudflare and I scroll all the way to the bottom, just make sure that when you're dropping down and you're selecting your network, that you're going to join the same network that your container lives on. You know, unless it's a different machine altogether, then honestly, as long as Docker can get to it, it can ping it in that host name. You can ping it from the host to that server. You should be fine to forward pretty much any traffic. But I wanted to kind of hopefully cut off some errors that you may have, especially if you're, you know, trying to, you know, forward traffic to a container that's separated out onto its own network. All right, guys, well, that pretty much sums up this video. It was pretty easy, right? There's really not much to it. It's easy, it's effective, and also it doesn't cost anything. And it'll also give you an opportunity to learn a little bit more about Cloudflare and some of the other services. This was just one of many services that they offer, and they want you to learn about it. And that's why I guess they have those free plans. So definitely feel free to jump in and get started with that. And if you have any questions, you know, feel free to leave them down below. Otherwise, if you found this video helpful and you've made it all the way to this point, maybe consider giving me a thumbs up. Or if you hated it and you just fast forward to the end, maybe give it a thumbs down. I don't know. Either way, I really appreciate your input, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take it easy.